Hey guys, Spac Daddy Doug here. Today I want to talk about a SPAC that hasn't really actually had a partnership yet, but I believe it's, from looking at it, it seems a little bit underpriced, and I think it's worth the gamble. That's East Stone Aquisition Corp, ticker symbol ESSC. Before I get to that, I want to talk about a video I released a few days ago. I said I had some really big news, and I was really excited to bring you guys some information on it. However, I did an extreme amount of DD. And it just didn't pan out. And it's actually surprising. I started reaching out to the fund, the guy who runs the fund, and some of these acquisition targets. And actually, an acquisition target came back to me and said, "Hey, we've had discussions and nothing's actually happening." And that's what I found out. So the power of an email and what you can find out from the business world, it's really interesting. But let's get into East Stone Aquisition Corp. So I'll tell you, I want to go through the reason why I identified this one, but I'm going to talk about the stock price right now. So it's trading under $10, slightly under $10. Warrants are really good price. You can actually buy rights in this stock and units too, which is very, very interesting. But let's talk about why I'm talking about this first. So if you ever heard about a company called Glacier Capital, now they're a big player in investing in a lot of these different types of SPACs. And something interesting happened a couple weeks ago, pretty much throughout the month of July, but they've been doing a lot of redemptions in SPAC stocks and other stocks too. And so I was just kind of looking through all these and the SEC filings and what they're withdrawing from. And they did a withdrawal from East Stone Capital Corp. They did it for 1,000 units, which is about $10,000. Okay, no big deal. But they took 2.4 million, almost 2.5 million out of DMS, SCPE 2.2 million, PACQ 2.3 million. I could have kept going through this entire list, but what really interested me, why do you only took out 1,000 out of this company, massive amounts to anything? They are and for East Stone Acquisition Corp, they are the largest investor. They have about almost $15 million invested in this company. I don't know why they did these withdrawals. Maybe they needed money for other investments. But I think the area that East Stone is in is very hot, and I'll tell you why. So, they're in Fintech, and it's gonna, they're reading through their SEC, so they're looking for North America or Asia Pac. That's their target area that they're looking to go into. I'm assuming East Stone probably stands for Eastern World, so probably going into China, if I was to guess based on everything I've read about them. But they're looking to do a transaction between $300 million to $1 billion. They're looking to get into online lending, big data, cloud computing, and credit analytics, mobile phone payment, which I think is really big, and I have a little bit of insight on a target I would like them to see. Smart contracts regarding blockchain or insurtech, and insurance technologies, which I think is, in China, it's a really different game than maybe what's happening in the US. And I find it very interesting, some of these companies in the fintech area. It's a lot of P2P payments that are up there. So they have like companies that say, hey, I want to use my mobile phone to take out insurance on a micro type of insurance. Like if I go skiing, if I break my leg on this trip, I want this much insurance. Or, it could be something, basically it's gambling. Anything you could think of to insurance, someone might buy up that policy. So it's really cool, that type of industry. But East Stone is looking for a strong and noticeable presence in its market, first mover in a niche market, differentiated product or service, and a seasoned management team. So it seems like they want to go in as the investors, and they want to have a management team already in place. And looking at the team here, it doesn't seem like anyone here is experienced in one specific area. They all have a very vast experience, but there are two people who I find very interesting in this. I'll just go over the first 5 people very quickly of who they are. So Xiam Sherman Liu, I probably pronounced that a little bit wrong. He's running the fund. He's for development. His background is development of real estate, on the board of experience of finance investment management. He goes by Sherman. I actually sent him an email kind of saying, hey, I'm going to be doing a video. Do you have any comment? Earlier this week, he had no response to me. Well, we'll see if he does. The next guy is Chunya Hao. His name goes by Charlie. He actually has done 2 SPACs already that have gone through, but back in 2005, 2008, both the companies apparently went out of business, which doesn't sound like a good sign, but it was because of the 2008 economic crisis that put these SPACs out of business. So no fault to him, but he's got exposure, has experience, and I think he's a valuable asset to the team. But his background is solar farms in China, Delphi, General Electric, e-commerce platform. The next person is Mr. Sanjay Prasad. He's a global business dimensions. He's entertainment, home cinema. He owns a website or a company called buyonlineled.com for LED lighting. A lot of people are saying this next person, Michael Cashel, he's American. He's the coup of Open Door Securities. And there was a rumor when the SPAC came out saying, hey, this guy's going to be the key and the SPAC's going to buy Open Door Securities. I think those rumors have been squashed. It's not true at all. The next person is William Zelk. He's a partner in the Automotive Advisory Partners Board of DEEC, Hydrogen Injection and Combination Chamber. So he's an automotive guy, Delphi. I think he knows Charlie from work. That's how he's on this team. But the 2 people I find the most, I find the best, or I guess the most important, is Mr. Hua Mao. He's from Tencent. So if you don't know who Tencent is, they're a huge, I think the 2nd largest company probably in China, if not, the 2nd or 3rd. But they're invested in a lot of things. But he's a dominant player in China for online services such as instant messaging, mobile payments, digital banking, and online gaming. The next person is Mr. Chen Zhao, Baidu veteran, digital media, communication. Okay, so they have these 2 people on the board right here. They're not paid, so they're advisors. And I think these 2 people are the key for where East Stone wants to go, and they're going to be talking with them. And having a guy from Baidu and Tencent is very, very important in China because that's like 80% of everything is through those 2 companies, 70-80%. So what I did my own due diligence on who I would like to buy. They in their SEC S1 they pull out mobile phone payments as something they want to look into and get find a company. So I looked at mobile phone payments, and if you don't know China, Chinese don't use credit cards at all. It used to be a cash society. I think 5% of the entire country uses credit cards, and it's probably just business people for hotels and whatnot. But something interesting has happened in China probably in the last 3-4 years. Is 70% of the market now uses their cell phone with QAR tags to make purchases. And it seems like the retailers don't pay any fees. They pay a very small fee. I'm thinking a few cents for each transaction. But 70% of the transactions are through those QAR codes. 2 companies hold the whole entire market. I think it's called Alipay, which is part of Alibaba, and WeChat, which own basically, I think, like 85% of the market, maybe a little bit less, but about around 85%. And I was like, okay, who are the other players in this area? And I went down the entire list, and it's just like these Chinese companies that had like 12 people. I looked on Dun & Bradstreet, and they do like a really well analysis. Good website to visit if you're interested in researching companies. And all these small Chinese companies with a few people, kind of a little bit shady. They all had their little niches. I came across one company called Yipe. They have 5% of the market share in China for these mobile payments. They've been around since 2003, and they are one of the only companies who are licensed with the Bank of China to do these payments, which is really key. In addition, the 2 guys who founded it, they have Chinese names, but they seem to be American. They're based in San Francisco, which I find amazing to find, 2 Americans, or seem to be Americans or American Chinese people here doing this. But what is really cool is they went to do an IPO back in 2018 on the Hong Kong trading platform. However, they stopped doing that, and they said, we want to do I think it was early 2019, they said, we want to do an IPO in the United States, I believe probably on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. And it looks like they have a valuation of $200 million. That's what I read. I don't know if that's how accurate that is. But if I was East Stone, I would definitely reach out to these guys because they're looking to do an IPO. It's in a mobile mobile area, and they have already market share. They're already established and mature. I mean, this aligns with everything that is listed out in their S1. But who knows? So I actually sent them an email. I haven't received a response back yet. It would be really cool. But so KPMG did a big thing on a report on the Chinese and what they expect, where things to go in the second half of 2020. So they're expecting bigger, bolder, this is specific to fintech, bigger, bolder deals. Deals will grow in size. Product expansions, niches will grow. Deals occurring in diverse locations such as China. And then the other next key thing that I find is unbundling of financial services. So this is really like banks offering like 20 services, and using your phone and technology to really just get into niches of specific things they can get into. So some companies will just offer a better product to their customers by doing this. And I'm going to list up a report up here from another report from KPMG of basically the hottest fintech companies that are going to come out. And I went through each one of these. Spent some time reading through them and picking out ones I found very interesting and ones that have not IPO'd yet. A couple that I'll just kind of read through them. If you're interested into this, you can kind of do some due diligence. I think the most interesting ones I found was Yipe. It's WACAI. They're looking for a U.S. IPO. They're into bookkeeping. The next key one was iPay Links, WeBank, QF Payment, 99 Bill, Fox Fintech Group, Huize Works, Huize, China PNR, ONT, which is blockchain, Booby, which is blockchain, and Dine another company. After researching these, I did so many cross references with all these names just to see if I could find any type of link and get some good, try to find something interesting. I haven't. But I'm not stopping you guys from doing that. It'd be really cool if anyone can find a link between this company. I don't really think there's any links out here. I think I think these guys are truly out there. They don't have anything. They have something in mind, an area, but they don't have anything in mind with a specific company. But those are some cool ones I'd like them to see. As for this Spac, I find it really good value right now. I personally purchased about 10,000 warrants this week. The more I read about this, I said, I'm going to do a gamble. And 10,000 warrants is probably equivalent to a tenth of 1% of my entire portfolio. It's hundreds of dollars. But I think it's a great gamble just based upon the price currently. It's trading under $10 per share. You'll definitely get $10 if you hold on to the very end. So you'll make a little bit of money there. Their warrants are trading at 24 cents, which is very cheap. They do have a 2-for-1 warrants, which it's okay because it's 2 warrants and you still have to pay the $11 for the 2 warrants together. $11.50 for the to buy the warrant. So the way I would look at it for comparisons of other SPACs is just double the price. So it's still 40-something cents. It's an extremely cheap warrant. And I do think if this company, picks up one of these Chinese fintechs, which I think they really will, just based upon there's so many out there. There's so many things that they could honestly invest in. And they will have their pick. And when that happens, I'm assuming the stock will go up if it's a great play. Also, this company is offering rights, which I haven't seen personally yet in a SPAC, which rights are basically offering, it's 1/10 of, it's basically 10% of one share. So one right, if the stock is trading at $10, should be worth $1. And they have a ticker symbol where you can buy rights specifically. It's ESSCR. And it's trading at, I think it's $1 and change. And I guess, I'm assuming if the deal does not go through, they're kind of worthless, just like warrants are. However, it's a great value. Another thing I found as a great deal on this SPAC is their units. So interesting thing with a unit, you get 1 share. So you get 1 share, you get 1 warrant, and you get 1 right. Which is really cool. You get all 3 of those things, and I believe it's trading a little over $10. So it's extremely good value for what it's trading at right now. My bet is they have until May 2021, so a little, maybe 10 months or so, to come up with a deal, come up with a SPAC deal. They can extend if they want to. I definitely think it's worth the gamble. It's at the current prices. It's worth throwing a few bucks in, just for the gamble if you have some bucks hanging around, and just because it's a cheap price. And something probably will happen with this SPAC. So it's a little bit different, and I think there's a lot of things that align. And as for due diligence of my other company that I've been researching and I have another video about with, if I do come across anything specific, I will post a video to you guys. But in that, I do have some free time over the next couple of weeks, so expect a lot more videos from me. And hopefully things improve. I'll get a microphone, so please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.